Have you ever heard a story so strange, so unsettling, that it makes you question reality itself? Today, we're rediving deep into one of the most chilling and baffling mysteries of the 20th century. The town that vanished overnight. This isn't a scene from a horror movie. It's a real-life enigma that continues to perplex historians and investigators to this day. Grab a blanket, get comfortable, and prepare to be mystified. Our story begins in November 1930, in the remote and frigid landscape of northern Canada, near the shores of Anjikuni Lake. This area was home to a small, thriving Inuit village. It was a community known to local fur trappers and traders as a lively and welcoming stop, a place of warmth and community in the vast, unforgiving wilderness. But one day, all of that changed in the blink of an eye. A seasoned fur trapper named Joe LaBelle knew the village well. He'd passed through many times, sharing stories and trading goods with the friendly inhabitants. As he approached the familiar settlement on a cold November day, an eerie silence greeted him instead of the usual lively sounds of village life, the barking of sled dogs, the laughter of children, the chatter of families. The silence was absolute, heavy, and unnatural. As LaBelle cautiously entered the village, his unease grew into outright dread. The settlement was completely deserted. Not a single soul was in sight. Tents and shacks stood empty, their flaps flapping in the icy wind. He saw a pot of stew, blackened and frozen solid, still hanging over an extinguished fire pit, suggesting the villagers had left in a hurry, perhaps in the middle of preparing a meal. He found kayaks abandoned by the lake shore, a sight completely unheard of for a community that relied on them for their survival. The deeper he explored, the more bizarre the scene became. Inside the empty homes, he found rifles leaning against the doorways, which was highly unusual. No Inuit hunter would ever willingly part with their rifle, their primary tool for hunting and protection. He also discovered finished garments with needles still stuck in them, as if the seamstress had simply evaporated mid. Everything was left behind. Food, clothing, weapons, and tools. It was as if the entire population, numbering around 30 men, women, and children, had been plucked from their lives, leaving everything behind. The most disturbing discovery was yet to come. LaBelle found the village's sled dogs, a vital part of their existence, starved to death and tied to trees. They had been left to perish. This was perhaps the most inexplicable detail. The Inuit people share a deep, symbiotic relationship with their dogs. Abandoning them to such a fate was unthinkable, a violation of their most fundamental cultural values. Why would a whole community abandon their loyal companions and essential means of transport? To make matters even stranger, LaBelle noticed that the graves in the village cemetery had been opened. The burial cairns of rocks had been carefully dismantled and stacked in neat piles, and the bodies within were gone. This wasn't the work of animals. It was deliberate and precise. The desecration of ancestral graves was a profound taboo, something no one from the community would ever do. Terrified and confused, LaBelle made his way to the nearest telegraph office to report his horrifying discovery to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The Mounties launched a thorough investigation, but what they found only deepened the mystery. They confirmed LaBelle's account and uncovered more unsettling details. Some reports from other trappers in the area mentioned seeing a strange, pulsating, cylindrical light in the sky around the time the village was thought to have disappeared. Was this a clue or just a coincidence? The official investigation yielded no concrete answers. No bodies were ever found. No signs of a struggle. No tracks leading away from the village. Nothing to suggest where an entire community of 30 people could have gone. It was as if they had simply vanished into thin air. The Mounties scoured the vast surrounding wilderness for weeks, but found no trace of the missing villagers. Over the decades, theories have swirled around the fate of the Anjikuni Lake villagers. Some believe they fell victim to a terrible, fast-acting disease, but that doesn't explain the empty graves or the abandoned dogs. Others suggest they willingly migrated to join another tribe. But why leave behind all their essential possessions, including their rifles and kayaks? It simply doesn't add up. And then there are the more unconventional theories. The strange lights reported in the sky have led many to speculate about extraterrestrial abduction. Could an alien craft have descended upon the village and taken everyone? It sounds like science fiction, But given the complete lack of a logical explanation, it's a theory that has persisted. Could the villagers have stumbled upon something they weren't meant to see? Perhaps a secret military operation, or a gateway to another dimension. The official records from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are surprisingly scarce. Some skeptics even claim the entire story is an elaborate hoax, a piece of folklore that grew over time. They point to inconsistencies in the reports and the lack of verifiable, contemporary documentation. However, the story was widely reported in newspapers at the time, and the legend of the Village of the Dead has been passed down through generations of trappers and locals in the region. So, what really happened at Anjakuni Lake in 1930? Did an entire community meet a tragic, earthly end that we just can't piece together? Or were they part of an event so extraordinary it defies our understanding of the world? Was it a mass migration, a forgotten tragedy, or a close encounter of the most terrifying kind? The truth remains buried under the snows of time. A chilling ghost story whispered on the northern winds. The empty huts, the frozen stew, the starved dogs, and the violated graves stand as a silent, haunting testament to a community that simply ceased to exist. The mystery of Anjakuni Lake is a powerful reminder that there are still corners of our world where the unexplained lingers, where reality is stranger than any fiction we could ever imagine. What do you think happened to the lost villagers of Anjakuni? Let me know your theories in the comments below. It's a mystery that invites speculation, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay curious.